it's always very difficult to keep concentration when you have a seminar like this one, where you have the same person speaking all the time. You have a problem. And when I arrange seminars, normally we try to mix speakers so that the voices are different and the people look different and the motivation is kept the whole way through. So I hope you can stand listening to me for 1 more hour, and I will try to go through some more topics. This was then the life cycle of the export, but we also have a life cycle of well, let I leave it. We also have a life cycle I want to show you about distribution. And I talked to you about it a little bit earlier today, but there is, just like when you have a brand movement evolution, you remember the evolution chart, where the brand is moving and is moving to a higher category or premium. And this is when you see the brands, it's typically, you see people buying a brand, and then they make a premium. And the most classical place is on alcohol. 20 years ago, you had vodka, and you had rum, and you had whiskey, and you had something. And if you go 30 years back, you had like Johnny Walker, Red Label. For years and years and years, you had Johnny Walker, Red Label. Suddenly, there came a Black Label. And double price. And then they moved up, and the same did Chivas, the same did the brandies, the single and malt whiskies, and step by step, even the most basic vodka on the market today is premium, super luxury. Let's buy 1 liter alcohol for 10 times the price. This is what I talk about when I say that the brands have problems keeping their position, because they are under pressure to perform and to make profit. And they are not only under pressure to make profit, they are under the pressure to make increased profit. So the way to do that is to add value to the category or to make new launches of more expensive products. And sometimes it's ridiculous. I don't remember this vodka, which cost like, I don't know, is it 700 euros or something like this? This is ridiculous. We have all been drinking vodka, and vodka is nice, and some vodkas taste a bit better, but they don't taste this much. Then this is what you do when the product becomes prestige instead of a vodka, because then it becomes a ritual. When you eat, don't happen every day, but when we eat caviar, then people sometimes don't like caviar, or even oysters is an even better example. People don't really like oysters. There's a very small minority of 10% who really love oysters. And then there's a big majority who like to be in a situation that you eat oysters because it's a ritual. We are celebrating with champagne and oysters. So we like the celebration in it. We like the ritual doing it. And because it's a ritual, we don't care about the price. Because we pay for the happening, not for the product. So when you talk about pricing, remember there are so many parameters to play on in pricing, but you have to do your homework before deciding where to be. The brand moving to a higher, more luxury position, of course, gives you this opportunity to increase prices all the way through, to a certain extent. But go next time you are in a liquor shop or in a tax-free shop and see this. I love to see all this creativeness they've done to sell a liter of alcohol. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is what happens with the distribution's life cycle. We talked about it a bit earlier. This, of course, heavily affects the pricing, because the reason for these changes is that you yourself either don't think that somebody is maintaining your brand as it should be, or because you want more profit. You want to take over more of the profit which is made by the distribution. So what I put up here is, is a multiple distributor in the same market, like the P&G solution. Everybody is selling Ariel, and then after some time, only few people are selling Ariel, and eventually they are selling themselves. Exclusive, successful distributor, subsidized construction, and they cut away. And sometimes they go back to exclusive distributors because they don't need that one anymore because they are established on the market. My advice to you, those of you who have your own companies and your own distribution, you are having to do hard work. It's difficult to have your own company and your own development, but you are safe. You are in control of this. But remember that all your distributors, they live a dangerous life. So give them confidence that you trust them and that you support them and that you don't do that circle tomorrow. If they have the fear that you are killing them later, they will not be investing as much energy in this as possible. My recommendation, but you don't have to follow this, is instead of doing like the brutal system here, my recommendation is to offer them to be a subsidiary company and offer them 49% of the shares. But this is like stealing half of their company. So while you do that, bring another 50% and say, then you also get this. Then you keep knowledge, you keep the power, you become brothers instead of killing them this way out. Depends on the business. Okay, I have to jump through some slides now. This one accounts for all business. You need full dedication. But I want to talk to you about discounts. When I go into a shop and my wife hates me for it, then I ask the cashier, I ask, okay, how many % discount do I get? My wife hates it. And they say, you can have 10%. I don't need those 10%. But for me, it's becoming a sport because I want to see how big control they have of their staff and their systems. When you give 10% discount, you normally give 30% of your profit away. Because if you have a 30% margin and you give away 10%, you gave away 30% of your profit. If I was asking the person there, would you like to give me 30% of your profit? They would probably say no. Discounts is a double-edged sword. The discounts are the main reason for killing the bottom line. Because it's easier. Let me have some percentage. Oh yeah. But it's killing the bottom line. So what I recommend you to do, if you can do it, is don't give discounts, give added value. Added value in any form where if you buy something for 10% and the perceived value is 100%, then this is much cheaper to give them discount like this than it is to give a discount on your price. So if you give discounts, never discount, this is black and white, never discount your own product. And if you want to give a discount in the shape of goods, never give the same product as you give discount on. Let me explain. If I have to find something here. If you have a bag of potatoes, I know that Lithuania produces a lot of potatoes. If you have a bag of potatoes and you say to the guy, oh, you get 2 bags for 1 price. What you have done right now is a big mistake. Because now it will take twice as long time before the person comes back and buys potatoes. So you've been killing the profit of the next sale. So if you want to give a discount, it's more clever to give them a potato and then say, then you get a small bag of carrots free of charge with it. Because maybe they like carrots, and maybe next time they come and buy both carrots and potatoes. So when you sample or discount, use the sampling and the discount as a promotion article, not discount the product you sell.
Currently, it's very common when you are going to shop that buy 2 products with 1 price.
Yes, and it's very common, but that doesn't make it more right. The supermarket doing 2 for 1, I think is stupid. I know they do it because we have always done it. But then we also should have stone material tools. The knowledge is clear. I will give you an example from the dental industry again, because it's something, you know these toothpicks you talked about? When I came into the company, they had a packaging of 200 pieces of this, and they had dental floss. They had a packaging where you could buy 2 rolls of 100 meters in a one package. How long time do you think it takes before they come back and buy one more product? And you know, the shops said, we want to throw out this product. We will never sell anything. Of course it didn't, because people had for years. So what I did was, I changed it and I made 20 meters in it. And it was a fantastic selling product. Success. You need to show your distributor or your distribution that something is selling. And if you make volume packaging or 2 for 1, what you actually do is, you ask people to stay away. A retail shop must work in this way, that they try to make people come as often as possible. Because you buy something you don't need. No, you don't do. But I buy something I don't need when I'm in the supermarket. So, discounts is killing the bottom line. If you are clever, you build in the discount from the beginning and expect to give it away. People are so happy to get discounts. But don't discount your main profit. You need that money. Now, I'm thankful for what you said about the supermarkets, because what we talk about here is culture. We use, in different cultures, we use different ways of selling. If you call China and you want to buy something, I say, what if I buy 2 containers? They say, okay, I'll give you 2% discount. 2% discount. And I kind of, what? Come on. Let's get some discount here. And the fact is, they haven't calculated that. They have made a production calculation. The Chinese are very simple in this. They do, as I recommend you not to do, they take the production price, and then they add the same profit on all products. No matter which product, they have the same margin on. If you, no, it's about just under 30%. 30%, just under that, depending on the how complex the product is. But so for a Chinese company to give 20% discount is kind of completely killing the business. For an American company to give 20% discount, they're still laughing. So you see, so this is how we use it. If we go to other countries, if you go to, I'll do some. I have some stories here. We just go a bit further. We'll jump through some of the things which we are not going to talk about. This is a funny one. I saw it on the internet lately. When we talk culture, have you seen it? I think it was everywhere, and I just thought it was funny, so I kept it, and actually the people behind this are not that wrong. and I would say that if you learn only this, you're not far away from having made some of the market analysis. Having been in Switzerland, I really think this is funny. It's definitely not solutions they do, but they get answers. How should it look for Lithuania? Many colors. Okay. Okay, sorry. This is the stereotypes. If we fall back on stereotypes, we make a mistake. Obviously, our customers don't need to be, but just because I have actually sold to Jamaica, And I met the people in Cologne, very nice people, and I agreed to them that we should make distribution. And then I was fed up traveling. I still have been more times in an aeroplane than in a supermarket. So I just said, no, I'm not going to go to Jamaica. Fabian, one of my staff, a young, very nice-looking guy, which is very good when you send them out. You send them to the female distributors, and then you send the beautiful girls to the male distributors. I sent him to Jamaica, and he was, yeah, I'm going to Jamaica, and somebody's paying for me. And he went out there, and they were so professional, and there was I don't know whether he was smoking, but there was nothing. It was very professional. So don't always believe the stereotypes. Okay, let's look at the mentality in different markets and how this affects pricing and how it affects your business. We all think we know the United States and the UK. I put them together because there are many similarities. We see TV series, we see films and movies from Hollywood. We follow the American election, which is very funny. We follow two parties in another country who is fighting about who they will have as their main candidate in the final election. Why don't we just follow the election? Strange. It wonders me, why is it interesting who a local party chooses as their candidate? Just wait. Why do we have to listen to the news? Wait until they have found the candidate, and then we can see them fight. But this is very typical American media. In the USA, people are used to advertising and prices and everything in a completely different way than here. It's much more direct. If you have an export manager or sales director from the US, they will come to you and say, hello, how do we do business? Not all this. They will come and say, I have this price, this, how much can you buy? What should we do? Check, check, check. Actually, you can do it in 1 hour. And most people in Europe, most people get a bit offended. They say, what's going on here? What's going on? And because the Americans are quite clear. When we meet to do business. And they are very, their salary systems are much more result-oriented than they are in Europe. So if they don't make money now, they don't make money. So they want to make money. And that means that you cannot follow the rules where you say, oh, let's go have a beer and sit down and stuff like that. They might do it because their plane couldn't leave now. But if the plane, if there was a departure which fit them, they would be off. They are nice people, but they are very direct. They don't have a big story to come with. They come with 3-4 USPs. Check, 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 check. You like it? Yeah, okay, bye. They also have a positive reaction to prices and to advertising. When a salesperson in the US stands up and makes marketing and advertising, in Europe we kind of say, oh no, there's another guy who wants to make advertising for his stuff. Right? Kind of, one more salesperson. In the US, oh, he wants to tell me something about his product. And they listen, and they expect it to go, and they continue. In the US, they have courses and sales training and selling sales meetings. They have on the TV screen, so they broadcast these ones to all the veterinarians. They switch on. The whole staff is sitting down, 4 people. Switch on at 11:30. Switch on the TV in the in lunch break, and they have an advertising film running. Because they say, we don't want the salespeople coming out to us. It takes our time, we don't have time for it. They have made a product where they say, okay, in the lunch break, we have all the salespeople coming on TV. Guys and girls, this is the future. Because it's so expensive to visit people. We know it's right, but we don't do it because, cultural. I don't want to sit in my lunch break and watch advertising. But in fact, it's cost efficient because you don't get disturbed by the salespeople. Discounts with American, easy. We know they follow the school book. We know they have enough margin. So you can always get a discount from an American company. Can you get extra services from an American company? Normally not. It's a take it or leave it deal. They don't have all this flowers and stuff and extra things. No. Does it make money? No. Okay, don't have it. It's very, very easy to work with American companies. It's very, very frustrating to work with American companies. If you have to launch your brand in the US, you have to have the story really made, finished. You have to put it in boxes. The average staff is less educated than in Europe. So not stupid, but less educated than Europe, which means that you need to make the framework better so they can go out with the box and it works. But then they perform. The US is very, very top hierarchy build up. If you ask also UK, if you ask this level about something, he will say, I cannot answer you on this, you have to talk to my manager. If you go to Scandinavia, even better France, they will tell you about the whole solution of the world, and you find out they have no power. So this you don't find in the US, and not in the UK. The UK and US are very, very similar when it comes to these kind of things. There's one difference. The US do it clean. The UK have taken the things from the US, and then they have forgotten some of the good things. So it's much more reliable to work with a US company than to work with a British company. My experience in Europe is that if you work with, I think the British companies in general have a very bad moral. I trust a Romanian company more than a British company. This is not what you think. You think, oh, they should be nice and stuff like this. They are not. If you make contracts with them, do them really good. And there's a lot of talk, and they're very nice people, but they have taken from the US this about optimizing. In the UK and part of the US, it's more important to grow the value of the company than to sell a product. So it's more important for them to sell the story than to actually sell the product. So they sell dreams sometimes. And be very aware of that. You have to double check. Having said that, if you come through, it's a big business and it works excellent. The US, I started quite late working on the US. I must say it's really rewarding. The US is not too big market for you to enter because they can do the rest themselves. You need one distributor in and they fix the rest. The financing you have to maybe talk about. That's we come to that when we come to Germany. Yeah, you can read. Do that one, please. Because they will fight you. I don't know Lithuanian law, but in Scandinavian law we have the spirit of the law. There's a written law, but next to the written law there's the guidelines how the law is supposed to be understood. So our contracts are 3 pages. In the US and the UK, they have that the written word is what counts. So what's not standing in the contract is not in the contract. That's why they are books. Let's talk about China. The discounts, forget it, okay? So now we talk about China. In Europe, there is this perception that, oh, China is a developing market. There are so many billion people over there. Let's go and be part of the growth in China. I fought for 4 years with my last company, which was not my own. I fought for 4 years. I was hiding. Every time the boss says we should go to China, I said, yeah, let's look at it, and I didn't do anything. Then he said, oh, I have some leads here for people in China who wants to buy our products. I said, oh, that's good. And I went to South America. I was obstructing us starting in China because I knew we were not capable. We needed 20 Michaels to do the job. And I only had 1 Michael and some people I tried to make better. The reason is, when we come to China, we expect this reaction. That we come, hello, boo! And the elephant gets afraid. You know what happens in the real world? When you enter China, you have to understand that China is not an established distribution country. Everybody's hunting wealth now. So if you go into China and you start in Shanghai or Guangdong or Shenzhen, and you go in there and establish, and you say, let's take city by city, or Beijing, let's take city by city and devolve and take China. You are badly mistaken, because already after 3 months you lose the first staff. He now knows everything, and he goes to another city and he starts up there, and before you even reach to the point where you sell the first container, he is established in 4 other multi-million cities. And even worse, if you come with a know-how and you're not Mercedes or big companies, if you come with your know-how and go in, what happens is that you also have the boomerang effect, that you teach the elephant all these things, and suddenly they are in Lithuania, killing your home market. You have to be big to succeed in China, or you have to be made thinking X works. Let them destroy it. In between, forget it, unless you do it as an entire own operation. It costs a fortune to do business in China, because you need so many people if you want to go out there. Exhibitions are very efficient in China, so they cost a fortune, but they're very efficient. But exhibition also tells everybody else what you're doing. And patent rights, forget it. So first to the market counts in China. If you are powerful enough to be the first in the market, then you have the position. If you're hesitating and, ooh, I don't have so much money this year, then they could take over you. And they just might come and kill you yourself. I love the country. They have fantastic infrastructure. People don't believe that. All the trains are driving with 200 kilometers an hour between the big cities. All the airports are new and beautiful. You fly forth and back. Don't think China like it works. And train how to speak English with them before you leave, because it's almost ununderstandable to talk Chinese, to talk English with the Chinese. They talk this kind of English. First you think it's Chinese. So actually train your ears a bit, maybe in Hong Kong shopping or something like this, and get used to this pitching English they talk, because it's really difficult, especially on the phone. Okay, sorry, that's too much time. I got caught away. I got carried away by China. Brazil. I highly, dearly recommend you to export to Brazil. They have some extremely nasty import restrictions and bureaucracy. They are, from a price position point of view, you can do anything. The market is extremely organized. Let me put it this way. I was out driving in a city which I don't even know the name of in Brazil, and we were passing a local supermarket chain's warehouse. It took us more than 10 minutes to pass the trucks which were loading. There were maybe 500 trucks loading at the same time. The scale of this country is enormous, and it works, and they grow. And the people are nice, but it takes 1.5 to 2 years to get through, and you need to have somebody speaking Portuguese. But the reward is fantastic. They are highly professional. They keep their agreements, but you have to be strict from the beginning. And there's very little competition in Brazil, because everybody's so scared about the language thing. I made an exhibition stand, and I hired 20 of the most beautiful dentists in the world to present the goods. And I went into the market, and I said, we want to start at the top. So I bought the biggest exhibition stand, made the biggest thing, had the most beautiful people on the stand, and of course the most expensive products. And they love it. They're a bit like Russians in this. They like the extravagance. So trust me, don't underestimate when you are there. Just flash. Okay. This is the area I love to hate, the Middle East. The Middle East have a perception of themselves as being very big, but the markets are not very big. The Saudi market is clearly the biggest, together with Iran, which is not Arabian. It's Persian. Don't make that mistake. a highly corrupt market to get into. You definitely need to work through intermediates. From the pricing point of view, it's quite funny because they are quite close to markets. Not Dubai and the Emirates, but if you go to Saudi, it's a closed market. You can easily charge more. It's not the price which matters, it's getting through that matters. And those who have the energy and the money and the contacts to get through, they come into a huge market. And you can have quite high prices. But I want to teach you a trick working in the Middle East. As you know, I speak a lot, and I like to go straight forward, but the problem is this doesn't work. I don't know why they do this, because I think it's not logic. But after many years working in the Middle East, I have found out how it works for me. And I'm going to tell you how it works. I go there. I plan to be there for 2 days, maybe 3 days. I go there. I say, hello, how are you doing? How's your kids? And they show me around in the business, and they show, we have this, we have this. They like to show off. Let them. Clap and smile, say, well, that's nice. And you just let them talk and let them talk and let them talk. And then in the evening, you go to eat some nice place. You don't talk business. Don't talk a word business. I couldn't help myself in the beginning. You don't talk business. Then next day, you go to meet the staff and maybe some customers, or you make a small presentation somewhere. And you have a nice lunch, and they show you what they have. And in the evening, you go to a restaurant, and you eat, and you talk about how your culture was losing this war or whatever. I don't mention Israel. And then you come to next morning or next middle of the day, where the plane is leaving. In the morning, they pick you up, and now you begin to see some ticks at your Arabian customer, because they have spent 2 days on you now, and they have wasted their time. They want you to be eager, because then they squeeze you. So I just wait. We sit in the car on the way to the airport, and the ticks gets bigger. And when I come to the airport, we step out of the car, I get my luggage. And now we use 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes to make the whole deal. Because now he's desperate. He has wasted so much time on me. And remember, I don't need to make business with him. If I start pushing too early, they are completely unreasonable. Completely. They have no understanding of how the things are together. They expect gold and everything for nothing. So you have to keep them there. I know he's interested, because otherwise he wouldn't spend 2 days on me. So just wait. Or even go home. And then come next time. If they ask you to come back, for sure they want your products. But don't do like I do and most people do. Yeah, when should we end? Don't. Prices, they are not as rich as they say, but you can have quite nice prices in the market. Well, let's forget Africa. No, Africa is very interesting, but we don't have the time. Anybody here wants to export to Africa? You should. But
We have a little bit.
you have a little bit. Okay, which country? Burundi. Okay, that was unusual. Okay. Well, the country in Africa I hate to love is Nigeria. Nigeria is absolutely the biggest concentration of crooks in the world, but it also has a fantastic business market, and the buying power you can compare with something like Switzerland. It's and there's very little competition. So it's a good market to enter. When you are being picked up in the airport and they have your name there, then have to make an agreement about a control question, because people, they interfere with the communication and they put your name on it and they hijack you. It's true. So know what you do. Okay.
South Africa, but don't worry, it's affordable.
It's
Like a good price level for hijacking.
yes.
It's affordable, no problem.
And it's not a joke. I had 2 people being hijacked in Nigeria. I had 1 family staying there where the wife was raped. So it's not a joke. It's actually happening. But having said that, if you make the things right, it's a fantastic market. Africa in general is the reason why China is going into Africa now, and India is going into Africa now, is because they are used to work in a volatile environment. So it fits them quite well to work in Africa. The more spoiled European countries, they think, "Ooh, I don't understand this. So let's go to a market where I culturally understand what's going on." Scandinavia is easy. You need to get friends. They are social. They like to talk. They like to work with people they like. They normally can find and afford your products, and they also will buy your products if they're a bit more expensive, if you can argue for it. They are lazy. They don't want to work very hard, so you have to prepare more things for them, and you have to support them more in the market and see to that they actually do what you agree upon. But having said that, they're very loyal once you are having it run. But they forget you if you don't take contact once in a while. So stay top of mind, call them once in a while, even if you have nothing to say. Then the Scandinavians are happy. Very organized sale. It's not so difficult to get into the market as people say. Unfortunately, some of the markets can be small for some of your products. Big differences. Denmark is a trading nation. Sweden is an industrial nation. And Norway is a raw material market. So the mentality is different. But in general, it's quite easy to get in. Finland, I have only experienced through a fantastic partner, so I cannot. And then Rossmann, I've been selling to. I don't have experience in that. What do you say?
Yeah, it's, I think that it's, if you can open your customer relation in Finland, so they will be loyal.
Yeah.
Exactly, we are very small. Don't expect that they answer to your email in 1 week. Maybe after 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe even 1 month. They say,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
come back to your email. So they are so.
Norway is a bit like Saudi Arabia. There's rush hour at 2 o'clock, so please be aware of that. It's the only country I know where there's rush hour at 2 o'clock. No, every day. On Fridays around 12. I'm serious, I'm not joking. This is true. When I moved to Norway, at 4 o'clock, I was shouting to my staff down through the aisle, say, "Hello, come here, I have something interesting." And I heard this interesting ing. It was echo, everything was empty. So. Anyhow, they're nice people, it's easy to work with them. They respect you more than you think. Unfortunately, you have some few Lithuanians who run around and are making some criminal stuff. But trust me, they focus more on the Romanians doing that. So, and the Polish have a lower standard in the system than the Lithuanian and Latvian and Estonians have. They know that you are, and historically you have a higher position, especially in Denmark and Sweden. We know your history, and we've been following you through the Soviet times, and it has been a theme in a school and so on that there exist some countries there which are not only speaking Russian. We know that, so you have a higher standing in the countries than you maybe estimate. Let's go to the discounts, by the way. Pricing. Scandinavia hate changes. Find a price and keep it, and don't, because most of the people in Scandinavia are having fixed salary. Even decreasing, but no, actually not. I would say most people in Scandinavia would prefer to lose their job than to go down in salary. So they are almost all fixed salary based, but they can make decisions on lower levels. I would say a Danish company would probably sometimes run better without the boss. Not unlike the Russian discussion we had earlier. But they don't like to work too much. And if you change too many things too many times, they have to work a lot. And they don't get money for that. So make it simple, clear, make it easy for them. And that's also good, because the laziness also means that they don't look for a competitor. So, what can I say? Fantastic area, quite difficult to work in. What you need here is this is like an old blah, blah, blah. You need to have a really personal relationship with the top manager or the owner of the company. It helps So much. I have been highly successful in those countries. I'd never expected it. Actually, I was pushing it very late in my career to go to South America because I don't speak Spanish, and there were so many other funny countries you could go to. But I must say it's amazing because the infrastructure, the selling infrastructure is very clear. They have had companies there for centuries. So if somebody's taking care of medical products, they know everything about that. If they say take care of your products, they know everything about that. They're family-owned business, most of them, which means there's continuity in it. And if you come with a good story, you treat them well. I was very lucky in Ecuador because I came to an old medical company, and the guy had a deformed arm or hand. And I went in there and I shook his hand, and I didn't react at all that he had this disability. And I could just see, from the moment I shook his hand and I was not afraid of touching him there, I could do anything. And they were so happy, and they want knowledge. The country there, they know they don't know enough. So this is brilliant. You come to countries who seek knowledge. So you're welcome when you are teaching them. Good luck, but remember that if you go to Ecuador, it's cold. So don't think that all destinations are warm. I want to not finish, but I want to tell you a story, warning you. Now we've been all over the world with different pricing, different access, and so on. I want to give you a small warning. When you have a staff which has been employed by you for 2, 3, 4 years, and having done quite nice work, and when they then suddenly have to go to Malaysia, and ask whether they will be bringing the wife. And probably that's the job to do for you. There's a tradition that before people get a job, they try to get an overseas holiday trip on the expense of the company. So if they want to go there, you just ask me why do they want to go there. I can smell it every time they do this thing there. And it happens all the time. Also when people run around with it. And what ideas do you have for next year's activities? They run around and so on, loyal. They run around to everybody, get all the good ideas, and then still competitive. See the signals, there's no reason to be naive. Has nothing to do with the subject. We take it, and then I finish, okay? This is what can help you increase your efficiency in the company. Everybody has heard about Parkinson's disease, but this is not what we talk about. We talk about an English gentleman who worked in the British Admiralty for the British Navy in the 2 centuries ago, or 18th, whatever. In 1860 or something like this and forward. He was working originally in India, but then England started losing their colonies and started moving the staff back to England. He was working in the imperial or colony ministerium of Britain. And what happens here is something that you can use in your companies. He noticed that Britain got fewer and fewer colonies, but the staff in the ministerium of the empire in London, the staff went up and up and up. So they had less and less work, but the organization was increasing all the time. And he said, okay, that's because we are cutting away colonists and they come home and we have to give them a job somehow. But then he found out, no, this is not the case. So he began to look at other organizations, private companies, other organizations. And he found out that all organizations were growing with the exact same ratio, independent of how much work they had to do. And then what happened is still valid today. Because what we see is that the company's administrative staff are growing and growing and growing, and then suddenly it's too much. And they cut, laying off people, whatever. And they start growing with the exact same percentage again. That's Parkinson's law. And why is it then like this. It's this way because you don't want to be manager for one person. So when you get the boss, having one working for you is kind of okay. But if you have two people working for you, then you're truly the boss. And it's so simple. And yes, you need staff, but apparently we all need a little bit more staff than we need. And that's why it grows like this. So that's Parkinson's law. I have... I promised Edmundus one more thing. Edmundus, which was the topic I forgot now? Yeah, I got it. Of course, it's standing here. So, ladies and gentlemen, how much will you pay for this? Yes! And do you pay the freight yourself? No. Remember, price doesn't matter if you don't know what's inside. Don't give away your prices before you have the opportunity to explain to customers what you're selling. And not only the product, but what you are selling. The full package, the full concept. Good. When they have understood that, give discount, no. When they have understood that, they probably are willing to pay the price because you put the price so it fits into the value you want to sell. If you are a very good salesperson, they wouldn't even ask the price. We have been through that. Second thing, get the story right. The story is making the foundation for your positioning, is making the foundation for your pricing, for everything. If you don't have the story, you don't have a product. Second thing, secure that there are no obstacles. There has to be this curling effect for your thing. Take away all the obstacles you can take away to make your product successful. Take ownership of all parameters which guarantee you success in the future with those distributors or somebody else. Secure that knowledge is spread to the people who need it. Tell them how to use it. Secure that they are being used and there's funding and resources enough to do it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Then it's a ritual. Most marketing today is made like a ritual. Lovely spending of money, completely useless. There's a saying where they say, in marketing is so fantastic because you never know really what works. Of course you know what works if you're into your business. So those people who say that, they don't want to follow the line. They make the marketing, the advertising. I hope it works. This is not professional. I guarantee all of you here that if you think pricing and business all the way through, you have less work because you can treat the people more the same. You can use the same material for everybody. You can use more or less the same price list. You can have a big Excel sheet with small differences, so you actually know what you make of money. And you can have make it interesting for them to work with you. Make sales meetings where they really get something, not just come. Don't make sales meeting where you come and say, hello everybody, we are together. Now we would like to hear best practice. Can you stand up and tell us what you have found out? Bullshit. You have to be the driver of knowledge. So even if they got a good idea, I will take your idea and I will present up here. Thank you very much. In Lithuania, they have done this fantastic thing, ba, ba, ba. You should implement it. In the break, you can ask this gentleman how he did. But also find your own knowledge. If you are interesting to talk to, your product is developing, you have a good story, you are pricing yourself right, and you are working hard, you make tremendous profits. If you fail on these things, you work a lot, you're not satisfied, it's not happy, and everybody's angry at you, and you struggle finding new distributors all the time, and you destroy the market, it's really not nice. Trust me, you can make it so easy to make exports. And actually some of the things you learn on export, you can use at home. So good luck with the export, and I wish you all the best, and I'm sure you're going to make more business, and I'm sure at least you're going to do it in an easier way. So thank you very much.